Human life started in China 1 million years ago. The ancient Chinaman traveled south to Canton, what the West labels as modern-day Australia. And the Chinaman also has traveled to the Americas and to Mesopotamia as far as Yunanistan. Approximately 30,000 years ago, a group of Asians who were Chinese-dominant Asians traveled northeast over the Bering Strait into America, becoming the first peoples of the Americas. These people were split into two groups, the Mayas of Mexico and North America, and the Incas of South America. Both of these groups belong to the same first peoples of the Americas, known as Native American. The Native Americans lived a natural, sophisticated, and pure lifestyle. Approximately 1,000 to 2,000 years ago, a group of Chinese-dominant Asians traveled east from mainland China to the territory of Japan. The people of northern China are known as Mongol. Many people seem to be misled and forget that Mongols are Chinese villagers. The Mongol rumors are lies. The entire Mongol lineage network of Genghis Khan and the Mongol Empire today is a total of 16 million in a world of 8 billion. Mongolia's population is 3.5 million people. The fact that the Mongols have killed 60 million enemies in a world of 500 million is the reason why people spread lies about them. Most often, the people who spread these lies are enemies. Alexander, spelled Aleksander, and his Macedonian Empire was the beginning of mass rape, and the person, he himself who created Abraham and the Abrahamic black magic religions known as Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The Mongols of Mongol Empire had many enemies. Taiwan made a deal with Western Europeans to create a naval passage to America via the Atlantic route that the Northern Europeans, known as Scandinavians, discovered in the year 1021, which is approximately 1,000 years ago. This led to over 30 million original Native American deaths and the colonization of entire Americas, North and South. The current native population are Christians. The majority have Christian names and are product of colonizers. Now, what happened was, during the first days of colonization, when the colonizers were at war with the natives, and up north in Canada, they would slaughter the women and the children when the native men went hunting. So when they came back, they would be desperate. Or that was down south. That was down south in the United States. And that's how they made deals to reproduce with the enemy, who is the colonizer, in order to move on. Now what this means is, the same native guy who bred with this colonizers hundreds of years ago, he was buried hundreds of years ago. And that the genetic order has been getting smaller and smaller each generation. But they have been keeping the culture alive. The native culture they've kept alive, but they've sacrificed the entire genetic order. The land of Western Europe that Alexander colonized was the biggest weakness and mistake that led to the downfall of the entire world. People in Western China are known as Uyghur, who themselves started a proto-Turkic territory / world as one branch of the China Tree. The Uyghur of Xinjiang, China, have a southern branch that extends south to India via Kashgar, Kashmir, and this was the footprint of humanity, how the human being has spread out across the world. Approximately 100,000 years ago, a meteor or a group of meteors from outer space entered Earth and struck Africa. This meteor event killed a big portion of life on Earth, which were coastal towns and civilizations. And this may possibly be around the same time when the Negro African invades Earth. Specifically that continent of Earth, or all around the world, for example. Since the dinosaur times, when there was a older dinosaur time frame, they were wiped out during a mass extinction event, which would be meteors. And it's been said that most of the time these meteors, there's genetic order, genetic DNA structure and life forms on it that seed in the earth and over time evolve. And the dinosaurs were a good example, because there was a time frame of the dinosaurs where they were totally different and simple and life form, and then when the mass extinction event happened, the next time frame that happened afterwards, they were evolved. They started flying, and they're bigger and they're stronger. And this was hundreds of millions, possibly billions of years ago. But 100,000 years ago is possibly when the Negro African invaded Earth through a series of meteor strikes, possibly around the world. The meteor strikes around the world were to wipe out the civilizations, which were coastal towns, possibly tsunamis and such. And the Negro African himself chose the continent of Africa to land in. Approximately 6,000 to 10,000 years ago, the Hindu Indian travels to Africa and sexually reproduces. This creates the albino Hindu known as white man, Alexander. And this created the Arab race of North Africa. Life on Earth has terraformed many years from meteor strikes that enter Earth from outer space. Aliens on meteors have been invading Earth and striking the continent of Africa to terraform the continent for the arrival of the Negro Africans. This timeline is 900,000 years ago to 70,000 years ago. The meteor impact from 900,000 years ago was a near extinction event that caused the loss of almost 99% of the ancestral population, bringing it to an estimated 1,280 individuals around the entire world. The event from 70,000 years ago brought the global population to as few as 1,000 to 10,000 individuals. This is very coincidental to the time of when the Hoba meteorite in Africa entered Earth and struck Africa less than 80,000 years ago. Not to mention the identical names, Hoba, Toba. Hoba itself being the African meteorite, and Toba being the extinction event near modern-day Indonesia, southern Asia. This is also coincidental to the fact that the Africans colonized the Americas, wiping out over 90% of the ancestral original native population and colonizing Canton, what they label as Australia, and where they also wiped out the entire ancestral native population who were Chinese, ancient Chinese, and they replaced it with an African dominant Aboriginal population, both in Canton and here in the Americas.